everyone, and welcome to Horrorspiria. My name is May.
And I am Clinton, and we're back.
We're back. We're
Not
also videotaping ourselves.
That's right. So some of you will listen to this and hear our voices on podcasts, and some of you will be watching us on YouTube.
I don't know about the YouTube part.
Where are we gonna be? How are you gonna see us?
I only use clips.
Oh, okay. So no, you can't go to YouTube and watch this whole episode.
Why would anyone want that?
That would be fun. I think we're gonna be a nice visual
I'll
experience.
think about it.
Okay.
I'll think about it. Okay. Okay, wait.
But anyway, what are we talking about today?
Well, today is a very special episode because we are doing an episode all on Malignant.
Hell no. You better not.
Yay!
You better not.
Yay!
That's some April's bull
So
S.
cool.
So cool that we would spend a whole episode talking
Yeah.
about
I don't remember seeing anything else.
that movie. We saw many things. So we have watched, for your pleasure, a list of 2021 films.
So the theme of this episode is 2021 because Clinton was like, "Can you think of a way I can watch Malignant for the pod?" And I was
that's
like,
true. I do want to see that.
"Yeah, we will do the best of 2021 because Malignant was the best movie of 2021." And so what I did is I went on Rotten Tomatoes. It was like a little listicle. That's the term, listicle.
It's disgusting.
Listicle
I hate
that they
it.
had.
Is it supposed to be like a popsicle, like a phallic
It's a
list
little list
frozen?
and a little person behind the a person behind the screen writes the list. That's how writing works.
Okay.
So anyway, it was a list of the highest rated horror films of 2021. And I'm like, well, surely these won't lead us astray.
Yes.
And so
now, can that be gamed though? The Rotten Tomatoes thing?
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
In a way though, like, so
how
the
much shenanigans do you think were
rated,
involved here?
So Rotten Tomatoes does have like, you do need to be a verified critic in order for your score to be considered part of the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Gotcha.
So the rating itself does come from verified critics, which is legitimately critics from publications, from presses. So it is a fact that all of the movies that we're talking about today were among the highest rated in the film critic world.
Right. Including like Dan's coolblog.com.
Who?
I don't know. I just feel like a lot of times the reviewers, you know what I mean? It's like,
I mean,
Curtis covers
from
Hollywood.
Joe Blow Movies.
Yeah, which is actually a site, I think.
No, it is a site. Yeah. But
anyways, yeah, I will respect that they have a system
so what
in place.
I did is I tried to find the foreign ones. Obviously, I did include, because Malignant's interesting. Yes, it's a Hollywood movie, but James Wan, we know, is Asian Australian, so and also an icon. But we do have one American movie in the mix, but the movies that we chose were Coming Home in the Dark, directed by James Ashcroft, and that's from New Zealand. Gaia, directed by Jaco Bauer, and that's from South Africa. Lamb, directed by Valdemar Johansson, and that's from Iceland. And then The Boy Behind the Door, directed by David Charbonnier and Justin Powell. Right? Those were the movies that we watched.
Those are the movies we watched.
And Malignant, directed by James Wan.
I think that we've done a lot of episodes and with a lot of different movie titles.
Yeah.
I think these are the worst, most boring titles of all time.
That's why I try to make it a Malignant episode.
Malignant is the most exciting. Not that the movies were bad themselves, but if you I mean, Boy Behind the Door or whatever is like the worst title. May is in pain.
It's a lot. I mean,
Lamb
I wanted these movies to be, I wanted to like them.
I actually did like some of them.
So that's what we're doing today. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm excited to talk about these.
I'm excited to talk
and
about
we're not only going to talk about do we like it or not, but we're going to dig deep.
You already forgot what we do on this podcast.
I remember. I'm
Okay.
just reminding in case this is your first time listening,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
do
or
put
watching us
Clinton
on YouTube
away
because
in a
I'm loving
storage
this visual. I
container.
love the visual
Oh
right
my
now.
goodness. I
Okay.
brought Clinton into the new age and he's like, "Oh wow,
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm
we
an
got to do
auteur
this
now."
every time.
Oh my
I'm a
goodness.
YouTuber. I've been I've I've always been a YouTuber. I just never had a YouTube.
Oh God.
Okay.
Anyway, so um right. So these movies, I mean, yeah, so critics, right? I mean, it was somewhat
Critics.
of a frivolous choice on my end, mainly because last year was very busy. I mean, if anyone listens to these, we didn't really update last year, and so I didn't really pay as much attention to the movies as much. And I feel like actually my favorite movies that of last year we already covered on the podcast, like Slacks. That was 2021. Um, Slacks is all I'm thinking about right now. But
I watched a lot of horror series, and we talked about off pod how
right.
this was 2021 was like the year of um Squid Game, and
Yeah,
that would have
which
been
I
like
still
a
haven't
horror
seen. I
spiria.
think at this point I should not see it.
Oh no, you have to see it. You have to see it.
This is the second time it's come up on a second day in a row. Second
Really?
pod, second day in a yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just the Korean horror series.
Yeah.
There's a few good choices out there, and they
Clinton really
really.
likes his foreign horror
I do.
series.
I
Well,
do.
foreign horror
Yeah.
overall. I mean, we all do. Yeah, but you are a series man.
I'm a
I
series.
just wrapped up season 3 of Servant. It is the best show that's ever been created on Earth. I hope that I die when it dies. That
I hope you
feels
don't.
that
I hope you
feels
don't.
that feels very appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was a push for both of us. And some of
A
these
push
titles
as in getting through these movies.
in some cases, yes. Also, again, Malignant. I mean, this wall was inspired because Malignant legitimately was probably my favorite horror movie last year. Malignant and Slacks. And I had heard really good things about The Boy Behind the Door.
Uh-huh.
I stopped being friends with those people after watching
Ooh, okay.
it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, one thing that was exciting that I haven't done actually in a while, in a way, though I hadn't done it in a while, and then I went to Berlin and then I did this with you, and now I feel like I'm beginning to catch up, but I hadn't watched a lot of modern foreign horror in a bit. Oh, The Medium was also another one I loved last year,
I
and
didn't see that.
that was written by the guy from The Wailing and directed by the guy from Shutter show. So
From a Shutter show?
no, Shutter, the Thai movie. So it was Thai directed,
Oh.
Korean written.
And what's
And
it
so
called?
it's called The Medium. It's up on
Okay.
Shutter. It
Oh,
is
oh, oh.
so that movie was definitely one of my favorites last year as well. So I guess, it was a mix of we both wanted to watch movies neither of us had seen.
Mm-hmm. I want to
And
watch something new too, you know?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so that was the exciting part about this. So I don't think this is where I guess I'll look to you and we'll see, do we need to really separate each movie or should we just talk about all of
Oh.
them like a big conversation?
I think we should separate a little bit. I don't know
Okay.
how we would do it all at
Okay.
once. So,
So, yeah, 2021. I guess, all right, before we get into, so the first movie that we're going to be talking about that came out last year, came out March 2021, was Gaia by Jaco Bauer from South Africa. If you want to watch this movie now, it's up on Hulu. Yeah, that's how you saw it, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So this one you can go up and stream. But before we begin to get into that film, what were some of your overall thoughts about these 2021 movies?
Uh, I think there were notable things about all of them. And yeah, I didn't like love any of them. But
Oh my god. There were
overall,
things to
I
observe.
thought there must be something better than this in 2021.
2022.
Surely. Well, within the boundaries of 2021,
Oh,
surely
that
there
there were
must have been
better movies.
something
Okay,
better
so
than
one
this,
so
but I
yeah.
could also assume that that might not be true.
No, okay, so here's what I'll say. Yeah, I did not like, right, Malignant remained my favorite of favorites. We'll talk about it. There were shades of things that I liked, and then there were some movies I just flat out hated. I think we may have for once similar vibes about each of these movies, except Malignant, which I think is a
Yeah, we're
masterpiece.
gonna fight on that one for
But
sure.
one thing that
That
I
was
want
not.
to I love it, even your defiance feeds my love for
I
it.
know it will, and
And
it's gonna
so
feed my defiance.
it's gonna be great. So I mean, one thing that I think Clinton said, maybe off mic before we started, was what a sausage fest. And yes, that is something that I realized maybe a bit after the fact. I mean, there were, like I said, I feel like the female directed horror movies I already saw that I somewhat wanted to see in 2021. Like Gigi Saul Guerrero did Bingo Hell, which was released on Prime Video.
Bingo Hell.
Bingo Hell, yeah.
Oh, that sounds cool. That's a much more
I
exciting
think
name.
you would like Bingo. I didn't like it. I think
Okay.
you would like it.
Okay.
Like I said, Slacks, directed by, I think it's Eliza Cuphart. Um, but one thing that I do have to say is I think the best movies released in 2021 directed by women were at Final Girls Film Festival, the Berlin version. Well, it's a Berlin
Film
festival.
festival kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Berlin Film Festival, but they did a February version where I did a talk on queer authorship. Hey, Sparrow.
Yeah. If you're
Queer.
watching at home, you get to see when the cat comes in the shot. That's an extra little treat.
um,
And if you're listening, you get to hear us describe it, which is not a treat. Sorry. Continue.
well, I did a talk on queer authorship, spectatorship,
Yeah.
and
Round of applause. Quick round of
okay,
applause.
yeah, okay, thank
She
you.
went all the way to
And
Berlin,
I didn't get COVID.
didn't get
Yeah,
COVID,
that's almost more
but
important.
no, but gave a talk.
Yeah, I gave a talk, and I mean I'm somewhat proud of the talk that I did, and you can go watch it on YouTube if you want to watch it. But I think real talk, my biggest excitement was the fact that I could just watch so much shit for a weekend straight.
Really?
Like yeah, because I even asked them, I was like, how do I buy a festival pass? And they're like, I mean, you're giving a talk, you have a
Yeah. They're
like
like, just
a
come.
pass. Yeah,
Yeah.
just come. And I did. I
Yeah.
mean, not I think this is more says more about me than anything else. I was legit, I think, the only like presenter that was
Mhm.
also showing up to everything.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. A
Wow.
few of
So
them
you're
would show.
saying you're the realest one in the room
I mean,
when
I
all the
was the most
presenters are in
obsessed.
the room?
Well, yeah. So Ellie and Sarah, who are the founders of Final
Uh-huh.
Girls Film Festival, they were like, "Thank you so much for coming out," and I was like, I am thanking you for
Yeah.
letting me do all of this because,
Yeah.
and I saw some really excellent. So everything at Final Girls Film Festival is by a woman or by non-binary filmmaker, and I saw some of my favorite movies that would have been made last year in at that festival. One of them that sticks out to me is You Are Not My Mother from Ireland. I have not been able to shut up about this movie. I think it just got released on digital. So I think if I were to really make like a best of 2021, it would include You Are Not My Mother. It would include a couple of shorts I saw at the Final Girls Film Festival. It would include Malignant, Slacks,
Shut up about Malignant already. Jeez, I can't stop
Malignant,
hearing Malignant. How many times I gotta
May
hear that?
Malignant.
Oh God.
Yeah, so I think those were probably my favorite of the last year. Do you have a few favorites off the top of your head?
Yeah, well, actually, I haven't had time to think about it. So no.
Okay. All right. But so yes, this episode especially is a sausage fest, and
As far as the directors, like who are the creators, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I in some ways I deeply apologize for that, but also it's because I already saw
These
a
are the
lot of the
leftovers. The
yeah, these
2021.
if I were
Sorry,
to
guys.
these are the
Back of the
2021
line.
critical leftovers, and honestly,
That's the
I
theme. That's
think
the perfect
that's
theme.
the
Critical
theme of this episode,
leftovers.
critical leftovers.
And
Yeah.
I think there's a movie here for some people. If you probably haven't heard of all these, and I think there's some fun meat here on these bones,
Um
on these leftover.
Okay.
critic.
I will one thing that I will say, and Clinton and I can speak to this, is I've been on his ass this year being like, let's watch this, let's watch this. And I have to say, I think I have hugely enjoyed our 2022 theatrical experiences much more than the ones I had in 2021.
Already. So we're
Yeah.
already off to a
We
better
saw
start.
Scream together, which I
Yes.
hated.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We saw X together, which we loved.
Some of us loved.
We
I
loved.
had more complicated relationship with it, but yes, it
We loved.
was fun. It was fun.
We loved.
Okay, she loved.
Um, and so shout out to both of those movies. I think those were anyway. So X was awesome,
Okay.
and yeah. So this year's been interesting-ish for horror so far. We look forward to seeing what else happens. Right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm super excited. I'm back on the train. I got to see the new Batman, everybody, and I got to see the new movie. Before you can slam into Batman, everything, everywhere, all at
Oh
once, or
no,
whatever it's
yeah.
called. We got to see that, right?
I'm so
We got to
excited to
see
see that.
that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
We'll see that sometime this week.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
there's
was
some.
actually literally looking at showtimes, just not
Yeah.
even to see them today, but I was just like, what's playing? So yeah,
Mhm.
it's at the AMC. We gotta go see it.
Hey, AMC, get
Yeah,
your Stups
yeah.
Pass. Nicole
What else have
Kidman.
I? Oh, we did see Drive My Car.
Oh yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, we didn't like
Yeah.
it, but respect.
Respect. If you love a 3-hour movie where nothing happens,
So
and that's not a
awful.
value judgment.
It
No, there's things. There's meat on those bones as
They
well.
they are meat on those bones. Yes,
Yeah.
we do applaud meat. So 2022, we're excited to see where things go and support independent film festivals above all. I think that
Yeah.
is where the true future of horror is right now.
Mm-hmm.
I loved and we love Final Girls Film Festival here. So but I guess it's time to talk about some dumbass movies, right?
No, come on. You're being too hard on these flicks. Lamb
Well, I mean,
Lamb is a
first,
cinematic
well,
thing.
before on that note, let's go ahead and hear a bit of Gaia, directed by Jacko Bauer. All right, so that was a bit of
Gaia,
yes, directed by Jacko Bauer.
a jungle horror, a
And
horror in the jungle,
an eco horror, so to speak,
very
from
much
South
to,
Africa.
to speak. Okay.
From South.
The movie opens with a couple characters
Yeah,
in a boat,
yeah,
and one character is a black man,
yes.
and he has some dialogue. And I'm thinking, this might be really good,
Oh
but
yeah, I like the first 10 minutes.
yeah,
No, first
right.
15 minutes
It
of this movie a
started
lot.
with
Oh
promise.
yeah, I was excited.
But the character says something to the extent of like, our female protagonist wants to do something a little daring or something, and Winston, our black male character, says something like, oh, the white people are crazy or something like that. And I thought either this is written by a black person, in which case this might be a really good movie, or this might be written by not a white person, or it could be written by any type of person, right? But I was a little unsure, and then our character Winston becomes like immediately stupid after that, and basically becomes that's because he starts out kind of smart, and he's going to be like the one who's like kind of above the doing stupid things, and then he just immediately does stupid things and is basically a non-character for the rest of the movie.
Okay, Horrorspiria readers, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really fucking hated this movie.
Yeah.
And everything about this movie also reminds me of everything that I hate of South African hegemonic culture. And what I mean by the hegemonic culture, I mean by the settler colonial culture that strangles so much of the native customs of that area, of that country. And that's what this movie is really about. And it's actually, I disliked this movie already when we watched it, but then I watched an interview with the director, and now I have like an active hatred
Wow.
of this movie
Yeah.
because this fucker just knows nothing about what he made and doesn't give a fuck about any of the implications. He, like, during the interview that I was watching, he was like, yeah, it's not something that like I've thought too much about because it's not something with a solution, but it was an interesting idea for a movie. And I'm like, I could tell that you didn't think about this movie because it's fucking dumb.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fucking dumb. And as you say, it seems like low-key racist the entire time.
yeah.
And
So let's bring listeners into the
all
story
right, what it's
because
about. So it is like this.
you have there's a jungle and there's
Right.
explorers of some sort
Yeah.
making research about the jungle.
But they encountered these like survivalists who is like
Yes.
a father-son duo, which took
Who
by
are a
the way,
couple who are white.
yeah, they're white, by the
Yeah.
way, yeah. Um, and but there seems to be like some monster in the
Right. There's like a planty, earthy
yeah.
monster.
There were I will give this movie credit for the few creature reveals. Like
Yeah.
I think when I saw the first creature reveal, I was like, oof,
Pretty cool.
ooh, this is
Yeah.
gonna go in
Spooky.
places. And then it did not go in places.
This movie has so many bad choices.
Oh yeah.
Like kind of yeah, just I think mostly bad choices. And then
Yeah.
when it continues into it becomes almost like a romantic story between
Oh my
our
god. It's
female
just
protagonist who might be in her 30s and like a 14-year-old boy with like
yeah.
a stunted mental growth.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are we here?
No, I don't.
There's a
Yeah.
million dream like wake up from a dream cuts
Yeah.
and where they wake up and it's like
It's so
and I'm
yeah.
like, but you can't do that as
Yeah.
many times as this movie does that.
Yeah.
The CGI effects are distracting and
No,
bad,
they're really bad. They're really
whereas the
yeah,
practical effects are really kind of
yeah,
fun.
I yeah, and like I said, I think like the philosophy for such a big topic, obviously you tend to want to read a philosophy into it, but the philosophy itself doesn't, and the way that the narrative unfolds doesn't really seem to make sense. And like I said, when the director talks about it himself, like um, I mean, one thing that bothered me is the interview that I was watching. The interview was like, this film brings a strong European sense to horror, and I was
Hmm.
like, wait, fucker, this is a film from South
Is
Africa.
that
But you
just
know
because
what?
there's
No, no,
white
no, no.
people?
So this is then the director. Instead of
Yeah.
correcting him, the director said, "Oh wow, that's such a huge compliment." And I'm like,
Huh.
this is why fuck most like South African filmmakers that are white making, because you're the ones that are getting attention for horror coming out of Africa, but
Yeah.
you want to align yourself with Europe. So what the fuck is
Right.
that
That's not
about?
great, huh?
It's not. And I mean, I
That's
that
bad.
overall. So then later on in the interviewer goes, so you have this story about horror in nature and you're shooting amongst nature, like how are you conscious of your own ecological footprint? And the director was like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not something that we really can think about too much because it's a small budget, and so if we have to get a shot really quickly and we have to crush through these plants, and we know we just have to do that. And I'm just like, way to like tell on yourself, like
Yikes.
there is
Yeah.
no ethical philosophical
Right.
claim
Not
to
even
this
really to
work.
not even be committed to your own movie's thesis,
Literally,
I guess.
literally, and just be like, and so like everything about this movie left a really bad taste in my mouth.
Hmm.
And I really wanted to find ways to enjoy it, but then when I tried to find ways to enjoy it, I only hated it more. And
Yeah.
I think it's for everything that Clinton just said. Like it seemed the first 20 minutes held a lot of promise, and then
Hmm.
it goes into this like weird fetishistic relationship, then it goes into this weird like he starts fucking a tree at one point because we
No,
find out.
yeah. Well, there's that one scene where
Yeah.
he's dick in the ground,
No, dick in the ground,
humping, and then
humping
and
the
he
tree.
looks at the camera.
Yeah.
That I was like, I laughed out loud,
I
and I
laughed
and
out
I
loud too.
thought this is like I wish there was a world where like the Oscars when they show the best movies of the year that scene, this is like
It reminded
pale white butt
you
going
never
into the ground.
it was a lot. You never
That was a
saw.
lot.
By the way, I hope.
But was it a dream? Like, just make
No,
that
I
part
mean,
real. In my head, that part happened.
I mean it
You made
happened.
me see
I
it.
mean,
It
you know
happened.
that his wife was the tree, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think so that was definitely because he was fucking the tree.
No, he was dick in the ground
He was
though.
dick. I mean, dick, and that's where the roots of. Do I need
Okay.
to do
I
a
mean,
tree
I
sex
didn't know.
talk with you?
Yeah. Apparently
Where a
so.
root, where a
There's
tree
gonna be
begins.
more having sex with things that aren't people in this episode. That's to come. But you know what bothered
Oh,
me. You know what
I'm
bothered.
like, what the fuck are you talking
Oh
about?
yeah. You know what bothered me a
What?
lot about this movie? There was a
Uh,
low key thing.
what?
So these are survivalists, right? They're
Yeah,
in the jungle.
yeah.
Their house is filled with like Target, Walmart candles. It was so, it bothered me
So,
so deeply.
so I don't. This made me hate you more.
Why would you would need candles?
This made me hate the movie more, but the main dude, the like cult leader dude, the dad, I forget his name, Brennan.
The dad,
Yeah, the dad,
who
dad
wasn't
dude.
scary enough, by the way. These were the
He
plainest
listen,
white folks.
listen. I'm about to. Clinton's doing a lot of really great build up for the reveal I'm about to give.
All right, what is it?
That guy did this film method. So apparently he would literally sleep in the hut.
Uh-huh.
He grew that beard. So
He's like, I grew this
yeah,
beard.
he would go
I could tell.
foraging
That's
for
fine.
his own food and things like
Uh-huh.
that. And I'm like, what a fucking lame reveal, because nothing about his performance
Yeah.
was even the slightest bit engaging. And I'm like, well, good for all of the bug
You
bites
did
and
it.
you
You
did it.
did it. Yeah. You know what? There's another movie that we're going to talk about,
Yeah.
Coming Home at Night. Is that what that movie is?
Coming home in the dark.
The main bad guy in that
Daniel
movie,
Gillies, yeah.
he should have been in like this movie needs you need to be a slam dunk
Yeah,
bad
I don't think
guy.
the
These
performances
bad
overall in this movie was
I
like
thought the protagonist was fine. I thought Winston was
they
fine
didn't
until
really.
they made
I
him
mean,
just jump off a stupid
they didn't
cliff
give them anything
into
to work
nothing.
with, to be quite frank. And
Yeah.
clearly, also, this director just has no idea the thematic impact of his stuff and just wants to be considered a European director. So that was also another thing that, again, really deeply bothered me is like, I don't, Gaia, first off, for those of you all that may not know, is the Greek mythological equivalent of Mother Earth. So,
Okay.
again, this mythology is very European. The landscape itself is beautiful and whatnot, because South Africa is absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, no, this film was easily the biggest letdown of all of them for me.
Yeah. It's so weird because it wasn't even like the longest runtime, probably,
I
but
felt,
I
yeah,
struggled
no,
at a
this
certain
movie was a
point. I
lot.
think there was just so
Yeah.
many things that I was annoyed by.
No, yeah, that's the thing. Things happen in this movie, but you're just so annoyed the whole time. And like I said, the vagueness of the philosophy already hit me when I watched it.
Hmm.
So just seeing how undeveloped and, again, exploitative even
Yeah.
it is, while trying to be the message of we exploit the earth, like, look at yourself,
Yeah,
bro.
and to make the survivalist white people too is it's sort of like the jungle belongs to them or something.
No, it
It
does.
it
In
just
South
which when
Africa,
you said it
in
was South
South
Africa,
motherfucking Africa. What the
yeah,
fuck?
there's a real lack of
Anyway, so that's Gaia.
Gaia. Yeah, well, we'll start off with a
Yeah, I
shotgun
mean, I don't think there's
blast
anything
into
else to
Gaia.
really we have to say about that one, because I don't think there's any intention really. I mean,
Yeah, skip
good
it.
for the good reviews it got, I
I
guess.
hope I hope the method, I mean, it's sounds like method actor
Yeah.
confirmed did stick his wiener in the ground probably.
I that seems to be the
Like
implication.
vigorously.
So if you want to see some
Props to him
Treon,
on that
if
particular
you
accomplishment.
if you're into fucking the earth, watch this movie.
It fucks the earth.
Okay. All right, so next we have The Boy Behind the Door, directed by David Charbonnier and
That was my opening a door
Justin
sound.
Powell. I'm pretty
Who's
sure he doesn't
behind
even
there?
say his name French like that, but
Justin Powell.
no, David Charbonnier.
Oh, okay.
These are both
Tabonnier.
Americans. All
Okay.
right.
Okay. Are they Canadian?
No, they're
Why
Americans.
does this movie feel Canadian? All right, The Boy Behind the Door.
So that was The Boy Behind the Door, directed by David Charbonnier and Justin Powell from America. It's up on
Where was
Shutter.
that? Shutter? Yeah,
Yeah, Shutter. It's up on Shutter if you want to watch it. Came out in the summer last year. I think it's a Shutter original, one of those.
one of those
Um,
types.
so this is a movie.
Yeah, okay, so let me set the premise.
Yes, please.
Boys get abducted
Pretty much.
into like a terrible child sex trafficking
Yeah.
operation.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of like a survival escape horror because
Yeah.
they're in a house and one of them
It's a house horror kind of thing.
gets free and then kind of
A black boy and a white boy, by the way.
yes.
Which, by the way, so we open with okay.
Mhm.
I didn't like this movie
Okay.
for a few reasons, but
Yes.
one thing that kind of already within the first few minutes, I was like, oh, I hate this. I'm really beginning to detest
Uh-huh.
when the most climactic part of your film is what you begin with to then, so a flash forward, flashback, flash
Mhm.
forward kind of
Mhm.
thing. It adds nothing.
I don't know what exactly you're referring to.
So we open with the boys in the trunk and then we
Oh,
flash
they're in the
back.
trunk first.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the very, very first shot. And so
Yeah.
then, but then that's only like a few minutes. We cut to the boys, so they're BFFs.
They're like playing
Okay,
baseball or
so
something, throwing a baseball.
they're yeah, okay. Here's this thing about this movie that
Okay.
like I wanted to like about it. It
Yeah.
seems queer as hell.
Really?
I they were the boys in the beginning when they were saying you're my best friend, you're my best
Oh,
friend. They're
yeah.
like
They sort of love each
they
other.
but they're like not only it's not only just like this friendship thing,
They
but
do
they're
love each
also
other.
the mise en scène, they're like haloed out. There's like soft glow. I'm like, this is framed like, and I mean,
Yeah.
I
Like a
in
love
a way,
story.
yeah, in a
Yeah.
way that almost excited me because yeah, that is
It
kind of
kind of
cute.
is. I
It doesn't
mean,
need to be sexual. I mean, it's not sexual at all. They just have a deep friendship. And
yeah.
because it was set up to be so romantic, I in a way, like I
Huh.
kept waiting for there to be some even slight acknowledgement about
Yeah.
that. Because then that's what juxtapose. So we get like this crazy, the boys are tied up in the trunk. Then we cut to this like soft glow.
In a
They're
fields, that
yeah, in a
part.
field. They're in
Yeah.
a field staring at each other, single frame for
Throwing a
single
ball or
frame. It's
playing on the
very
ground or
romantic.
something.
And then like a kidnapper comes in.
Yeah. Kidnapper comes in as like donk and we don't see it because it's off screen. And then the
Yeah.
next kid donk.
Yeah.
Or the kid's
Yeah.
like, "Where are you? Where's the baseball?" And then donk got him. But
You know what this movie reminds me of? It felt like a Disney Channel original movie.
really, okay, so my first impression, my
Yeah.
first like big impression
Yeah.
was there's the scene where the kid, so she takes, oh God, I just ruined it. It's he or
Well,
she takes, there's
there's
a twist. Oh my
yes,
God.
spoilers by the
The
way.
abductor is a woman.
Yeah, they're a woman man duo.
Oh, it's
And
two.
yeah,
I think it's mainly just the one.
no, there's the man. What
I
do you
mean,
mean? He
there's a
kills the man. Did you watch
the
this movie?
man. Where's the man?
Dude, what are you talking
Oh,
about? The
well,
black boy kills the man that
oh,
locks
right.
up.
But that's just, to me, I think that's just a guy who's like paid to abuse the kids. In my mind,
Oh,
the
okay.
woman is like the master,
I didn't
and
think
she
about the
just
full
there's like a
philosophy of the film
transaction that
because it all
happens.
seemed messy to me.
Okay, so
But yeah,
but let me go back to the boy. She takes one of the boys out
yeah,
of, or somebody takes one of the boys out of the trunk,
yeah,
and then the other boy is left in there,
yeah.
and which is our
The
young
black
black
boy, yeah. So the black
character.
boy sort of is like the hero. So that is cool to see overall.
Yes.
You
And
know,
he's a good actor. But here's
yeah,
my first impression was
yeah,
this kid is locked in a trunk.
yeah.
I believe he's locked in a trunk. I am watching a young boy like fighting for his
Oh,
life in a
oh,
trunk. And
I have something to say.
like
Yes.
like uh, I'll give him credit, like that was great acting, but it also looked really real, and I don't even want him to have experienced something that seemed like it just felt unethical.
So I agree because watching all of these movies, I think other than maybe the ones that I like the most, or we'll get into it, but I think I'm officially at the age where I'm really over watching real animals going through things for movies.
Like torture, sort
Or
of,
well,
or
so I had
physical
issues with
violence.
Lamb,
Yeah.
and what and the main reason because in
Well, let's not go into Lamb too
okay,
much.
all right,
Let's
well,
stay in the boy behind the
there are
door.
things about Lamb, but yes, in this movie I completely agree. I was like, okay, I get it, it's for a movie, and maybe
Yeah.
even when I was younger I'd be like, oh, that's so
It's
cool.
so
But
real. It's so
but
gritty.
I'm officially at the age where I'm like, I am not really enjoying watching these boys have to battle it out. If it did feel a little,
I mean, you're watching this kid gasping and
yeah,
grasping and
yeah, and of
and
course movies are movies,
pounding and
but I don't
but
know.
maybe it's also the
Yeah,
you
I
could
don't
have shot it
know. You
differently. You
could
don't have to put you don't have to
the
make it real for a
yeah,
7-year-old,
yeah,
you know, or
I was just
10-year-old,
listening.
11-year-old.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, I was just listening to an episode of a different podcast, Hornblood Fire, which is really good. She's awesome. And they did one on the whaling, and they were talking about the kid acting in the whaling and how, like, in American movies, things are played up to such an nth degree, but there's a lot of threat in her in her silence as well, and that is good acting as well. And I couldn't help but think of that thinking back on this movie. Again, no direct shots to the kid actors themselves. I think that they did the best with what they were given, but so much of this film did feel so just like really?
Okay, so and I think that this film, I can see where people would like this because I think it's
I could
well,
too.
there are parts
Yeah.
of this that work, and even the twist is
It's
kind of
very much
lame,
a
but it
horror movie
works.
though.
It's a
And
horror, but yeah, here's the thing.
what I
Here's
mean
the
by
thing.
that is it's super formulaic for me.
It is, yeah, it's formulaic,
Yeah.
but the formula works for the most part. But here's the thing: at
Yeah.
the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's like this kind of adventure escape thriller.
Oh, it's
But wait, 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 wait,
okay.
wait,
Go,
wait, wait,
go,
wait.
go, go.
But this is about child sex trafficking.
Again, yeah, I feel like the lead was buried a lot in the main theme, and then there were also like very on the nose, like subtextual things that I was just
Oh
like,
my
this
god,
is
like the
so.
"Make America Great
The
Again"
Make
bumper
America
sticker.
Great sticker when
Not
she
only it's
turned
not bad
no,
enough she's a child
no,
molester.
and then for like the 3 minutes that the cars turned on, oh, it's conveniently like Rush Limbaugh going off about immigrants while or
Yeah.
going off about black boys while a black
Oh,
boy is
really? I
driving a
didn't catch
car.
that. Yeah.
No, yeah. Another thing is the
It
TV.
didn't fit. It
The,
didn't
the
need to
the
be
the
there.
TV would always be giving
Fox News
yeah,
or
like
the
yeah, they would be like low-key commentary on exactly what you were seeing. And this is bother me, something that I noticed more and more, I think, in more recent horror movies, and this was a big thing for me in Scream as well, and why I didn't like it, is like thinking that it's meta to use like background noise to comment on a scene as it's going on. I'm just like, I'm not stupid. I know
right.
I have ears. Like this you're making me
It's not
aware
as
to the point
clever
it's not
as it
clever.
thinks
You're
it
making me
is.
aware that I'm watching a commentary of a commentary.
Right.
True like satirical things, true symbolic things don't go so it's so elementary, really.
Yeah.
And that's what I just feel about this movie. It's not a bad movie per se, but it's just like it's so by the numbers, and then to me it's really queer. And so what I did, and I don't know how I feel about revealing this, but I was like, I needed to watch something with the directors, so I did. And a few things. One, as Clinton said, this is like, it definitely feels like the adventure genre
Yeah.
is
It's like
the
Goonies, but with sex
you just
trafficking,
ruined
which
what I
is
was
a
gonna say. So I
bad.
was like, these directors were probably influenced by Goonies.
Yeah.
And I turned on the interview, and it's the very first thing that they mentioned. They're like, yeah, we wanted to do like a Goonie style horror. And I'm like, yeah, I could tell.
But this isn't even horror.
It
This is
doesn't feel like
too.
a
If
horror.
you
It
go into
doesn't at
sex
all.
trafficking and you're looking
Yeah.
at adults abusing children, that
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
make it monsters or something that you can kind of abstract or something, but if when it's so real and disgusting, it's not an enjoyable
Well, it's
watch.
not
It's not
even
like I want to think about it, I'm like, ugh.
I'm not even sure that I would necessarily fully agree with that take in the sense I agree with you overall, but I just feel like not even the directors wanted to go that dark. So like it never goes dark enough.
Oh,
And
I
then
think it goes real dark.
I don't think
I
I
mean, the kids are
like
chained up. There's an adult man coming in, and
yeah,
ugh.
but I never I mean true bodily harm never really comes to any of them, you
They're
know.
I think you got to assume the friend is violated. At one point,
Oh,
he
I
asked, like,
don't
"Did he do anything to you or something?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
no,
maybe don't
yeah.
ask that to your friend
No,
who's been
well,
chained up and
well,
you
that's what I
know."
mean though. Like and that in and of itself
He
felt
said
like an
no.
expository moment rather than would you really be asking that in that moment? But
Yeah.
that's what I mean about this movie. And so again, so this other part that I'm about to reveal when I was watching the interview with the directors and I try to do a lot of research,
Hmm.
the one thing that I think that that does come through strong is this queer voice. Now, I'm not sure if these directors are gay because these are actually some of their very first features. They haven't done a
Hmm.
lot of press. I try to do as much research as possible, but as someone with the gaydar, I'm almost positive these are two queer directors themselves.
Okay.
And and I think, I just did that
But
talk
what
on
does that mean, I guess, for you? How does
well,
that
I do
change?
feel like there's a certain level of camp that is in and of itself studied in the connection of these two boys. And I think that that was the most, again, I go back, the most interesting part to me was when I first saw this was a queer story. But it has so many elements that are not treated tonally similarly or respectfully, and it seems like it both trivializes the plight of you have this political plight, this racial plight, this the abuse obviously, but it still feels like it's supposed to be like this pop movie at the end of the day. And so I don't know, just a
Did
lot
the
of confusing
director? I
tones.
looked at the director, and they seem to have a movie that also
Oh,
starred
the gin.
kids. Was that also with
I
kids?
did not see it, but I do have it has supposedly good reviews,
Oh,
but
really?
I'm not gonna lie, guys. When I was doing research on these guys, I was like, wait, there are two American dudes that are making an American movie about a Muslim folklore thing. And I
Hmm.
was like, you could not find a Muslim American for this. I don't know. It
Hmm.
feels
I mean,
weird.
are they Muslim? Do we know? I
I'm
mean, do
I'm
we have
pretty
a?
positive they're not Muslim.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm pretty positive they're not Muslim. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't hate this one as much as Gaia. I do think that the friendship of the boys was the most interesting part of the movie. But what like I said, it feels like a TV movie. It's not the worst.
And just if you, ugh, who's
Yeah.
in the mood to watch
I
this?
don't
It was good, but like it's weird because it was good. It was entertaining. It was
that was such a
thrilling.
violent
Oh,
noise.
was it? Sorry about that. It was yeah. It was all the things we've said. Boy behind the
Yeah.
door.
Boy behind the door. I don't know. Don't
Yeah.
recommend this to me.
No.
I
I
wouldn't
mean,
recommend it, but
just make it fun. If it's got kids, make it fun. Make it funner. You can clearly
be
they can make a good
mindful
movie. So
of
make
yeah,
a if it's gonna be a you know
I don't know.
blah,
So,
that's dark.
all
To
right.
me too, it was too dark to be fun.
Oh, wait.
What?
Oh, I think we're finally getting into the good stuff next. All right. And
Oh.
so
Uh-oh.
right now, here is some of
No,
James Wan's
no.
Malignant.
Cover your ears. Cover your ears.
Oh my All right. And so that was Malignant, directed by James Wan, my favorite movie of 2021. What a joy this
No
movie
comment.
is. What a joy.
Is it?
So,
Well, I've got a
what's this
question.
movie about?
Okay, so this movie is about I'm gonna miss some parts, but I'm gonna give you the key part here. Actually, I'm gonna throw it over to you because I don't know where to start.
That's why I asked, because whenever anyone asks me to like describe what this movie is about, I'm like, no.
Yeah,
You need to just walk. Okay, so
you need to force it on yourself.
when I always wanted to watch this movie because obviously James Wan's an icon. I love the Saw movies, love Insidious, love
I love The
all the
Nun.
Conjuring movies.
Did we watch The Nun together?
I never saw The Nun.
Okay, I saw The Nun by
I don't think
myself.
he directed
Then
The Nun.
no, he did,
Did he? I don't
because
think
I
so.
went back and I said, this movie was directed by someone who's made a movie before.
You're such a. I
This
mean,
movie
this shows Clinton's
feels like
stupidity, though.
this movie feel
This
this
movie,
movie shows
there are
somebody's stupidity.
so many layers going on in this movie, and it is
Yeah,
my favorite thing in the
it
world. Well, okay, wait.
was it
To,
made by a group project
no.
where like one
Also, oh,
person was
no, yeah, he didn't
talented in
direct The
the
Nun. He didn't direct The Nun.
well, then I don't
See,
like
you're a
any of his
dumbass.
movies.
Well,
Who
you
directed
have
The
bad
Nun?
taste. I don't know. I don't want to know.
Yeah,
So all right, I
2019.
think mm, okay, if we were first off,
Let's
this is
tell
gonna
people
have
what
a
it's about.
lot of spoilers.
W-
If you were to give like a non-spoiler synopsis, it'd be like this woman starts having visions of murders. And so that's, I think, sort of like
That's in the movie?
what do you mean?
I
That's
mean,
like
I guess
before the reveal
you just
happens. Okay,
reveal
so
it.
here's like
Just
all
reveal.
right.
There's a
When
monster
when
in a
I
woman's
shut
head.
the fuck up. It's not a monster. It is. So when I heard about this movie, obviously I just wanted to watch it because James Wan did it. But you know, when you look at the poster, you look at these things, I was like, Malignant. Oh, clearly there is some type of herself that just like she's like sleepwalking or something, and maybe that's the thing that's Malignant or whatever. And so here's the thing about Malignant, and here is definitely what I'll say. The first 40 minutes of Malignant are hell.
Oh my god, thank you. So wait, so how is this a
They
good
are
movie?
hell.
Wait. Let me asterisk.
They're hell.
The opening scene is awesome. And my first notes in my
What's the
phone,
opening scene?
it's like the
Oh,
chaotic
the
doctor office.
Oh my god,
The
it's
first
so
scene is
Sam
so
Raimi.
good. The
Yeah,
first
it's
scene is so
amazing.
good.
It's
In my
amazing.
notes I have,
Yeah.
this is going to be the best movie ever.
Oh, that's
And then
amazing.
the very next scene, my very
Yeah.
next note is, oh my god, this movie sucks. Actually, this movie
No.
is so
Okay,
bad.
so I so yeah, you're watching it.
Oh
And
my
and
god,
and my main thing, especially being familiar with James Wan's style, is for the first
James Wan
40.
produced The Nun. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he created the Conjuring series,
Yes.
bitch.
Yes. Sorry.
So he produced all of those movies.
Okay. Go on.
Fucker. Anyway, so again, being familiar with James Wan's style, I was like, this seems so procedural, so mid.
So
Like,
mid.
what's about? And then, but not only is it so mid, there are certain, and these are now things that I love about the movie,
Yeah.
but there were definitely moments before the 40-minute point, like things that I remember when first off, when she gets slammed into the wall, I was like, oh, that seems really
So
extreme.
stupid.
It seems so extreme. It was so loud.
It
And
was.
there was a lot
It
of
was
blood. And I was
literally
like,
funny, and
oh,
you.
it was
It was
funny because
supposed
it
to
was
be
so
so. It
absurd.
was supposed to
It was
be
so
so
absurd.
brutal,
It,
and it was just absurd.
yeah, because
Because
I
wait, can we
had
do the scene? The I think she's like saying something nice to her
she's
boyfriend or
like, oh yeah, can
something.
you look at this? And he's like, I'm not gonna look at
He's
this.
like, bitch, I'm watching UFC, the violent television. Get out of my face. And then they do this weird, like, sped up push.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Like, you're
It's-
making a movie.
It's
Can't you?
hilarious.
Can't
It's
you do
hilarious.
angles or
I mean,
something to
it
make
was
it look real?
upsetting
It
at
looks so
first.
fake, right?
It did look so fake. It
And
did
she's
look
like,
so fake.
"Ugh," and hits
So
her head
then
on the thing. And it was
so
like,
whatever, like the dude dies
so
or whatever.
instant domestic violence, like
No,
right
yeah,
off the bat.
yeah, it was. I did make it. Yeah, it was like, anyway.
And like,
So
yeah.
So whatever the dude dies, I already
Wait,
forgot
how does
how
he
he
die?
died.
Hmm.
Something to do with
Does he get
Gabriel.
killed by the
Yeah, he gets killed by
malignant man?
Gabriel.
Malignant
Yeah, I
man?
think he gets killed by. I also like preferring to call Gabriel Malignant. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
we'll get to
Okay,
Gabriel in a
Gabriel
second.
is the monster.
Gabriel is our king. Gabriel got a bad rap.
If you can get through the
Look,
first 40 minutes.
okay, but
I fell asleep.
listen,
Real talk, 20
that
minutes, fell asleep.
that doesn't surprise me. Fall asleep during everything.
I am the
Um,
father of 2 children. It's very
so,
hard. Very hard. Stay awake.
um, so,
I
but
stayed
like
awake
other
during
other
Lamb.
parts, so like he dies, and she's like, oh, because she was pregnant, she lost the baby as
Yes.
well. So then,
Well, we thought that was the domestic violence, but
anyway,
from a quote later in the film, we realized that maybe that wasn't the case.
oh my god, so good. Anyway, but then so like there are like some weird, so then she begins having these visions, right, of like where people are getting murdered in her dreams, but she says that like her body locks up and whatever. And then she mentions a name, Gabriel, and her mom is like, where'd you get that name from? And then like a couple scenes later, the mom was like, we have something to tell you, you're adopted.
You're
And
adopted.
then the sister's reaction is like, oh,
And then they literally play like the song, Where is My Mind?
It was like being adopted is the
Where
worst
is my,
thing
it's like,
that
oh my
ever could have
God,
happened to
maybe
anyone.
maybe my parents are murdering aliens.
So then,
I'm
like her
adopted.
sister, her adopted sister, is like, no, I have to figure out what's wrong with Madison, because Madison keeps disappearing. Like it seems like Madison is killing these people that were related to the orphanage that she came from, which her mother fills in the context. And so this is again still where I'm about to lose my patience, because then the sister goes off, and the sister goes off and goes to supposedly the orphanage, like is still, wait, give me a second.
Yeah. Just getting a hot text.
Okay.
No. What is the orphanage?
So right, we get
Because
this
I was
idea of the orphanage.
so over it.
Yeah, no, I was almost over it at that point, because yeah, I mean, there's a lot. So the cops become very much involved in this. They become like the levity, I
The
really liked.
oh my God, did you like the
I
cops?
fucking love the
Oh
cops.
no.
They're so dumb.
Oh, it's like poorly
So
acted
stupid.
CSI.
Oh my god. I mean, I think that's all on purpose though. Like,
Oh.
I think it was all on purpose. But anyway, also like during this 40-minute time period, we do have like I think 2 significant Gabriel scenes. So you do get this
Like
image of
monster
like a
horror.
monster with a lot of like black hair. You don't really see his face, but we're made to believe that like Gabriel's going off doing shit while Annabelle Wallace is the actress. So sorry if I call her Annabelle. Madison is like stuck in this like fugue state or whatever. So her sister goes off and is trying to find the orphanage, which already, just her adopted sister going off to the middle of nowhere, I guess in California, to find an orphanage, already absurd. An orphanage from 30 years ago, right? She finds the orphanage. Already, I'm like beginning to get real pissed off. I'm like, oh yeah, this orphanage is fucking intact after
Yeah.
30
Was it
years,
that like
where the
spooky castle
electricity,
looking thing?
the fucking electricity is working too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And she grabs
but then we
documents or
go
something.
down so she
She's
ends
like-
up going down to the basement, where like the third document she picks
It's like
up
the
is
spooky-
exactly Madison's document.
It's like the spooky
But-
asylum looking old
but-
place.
But
Yeah.
reader, please.
Listener? Watcher?
Reader.
Oh, okay.
This is where shit gets real, because she opens up Madison's file, and what we come to learn is Madison has a twin that is living out the back of her head. And we get this flashback to this motherfucking incredible skeletal creature brain thing that is literally operating out of a little girl's body. And I was like, I don't think I've ever seen an image this batshit in an American movie in some time. So here's what I will say about Malignant and why I love it. 90 99% of these fucking effects were practical, and it pays off so well. The only scene that had major, or not, and not even major, what happened is there's a scene at the police station at the end that is like that shit, where like Gabriel's throwing bodies
Yeah, it's like the
everywhere.
Matrix, like
Um,
pop, pop,
no,
pop.
yeah,
She's fighting
that
backwards.
so
She's like,
Gabe,
ho, 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 ho,
that
ho.
was all practical.
Yeah,
Those are
cool.
motherfucking
Cool. Why didn't
contortionists.
you make the rest of the movie
Those are
good? If you could make
those
that
are
good, why
motherfucking
didn't you just do
contortionists.
that more?
So then after that point, we learned that it's actually been Madison doing things, because what happened, and then so
Well, it's been
right
Madison
during a
via.
parallel action. So right as her sister is revealing this, we get a parallel action sort of deal where we have another scene being intercut here, and it is Madison who was jailed up for the supposed murders that she's been doing, and we get a transformation scene where Madison's skull splits open, the face like falls back, and then Madison goes
She
ape,
goes ham on everybody.
goes ape on all the women in that fucking jail cell.
I
Oh
have
my god,
problems.
it was
I
perfect.
have problems
It
with
was
this.
perfect.
So real quickly, just a quick aside.
Yeah.
How come the black woman in jail was dressed in like
So
1960s?
everyone in that fucking scene was dressed out at a costume party.
Everyone's like a stereotype
Everyone.
in that jail.
Everyone. Well, first off, one thing that I also want to say about
It was
Malignant. Wait,
distracting to me. I was like,
before
this looks
you
like a
go,
Halloween store. Yeah.
So yes, this movie was directed by James Wan.
Yeah.
The idea of the story came from his wife Ingrid Basu, who was influenced by I think she's Romanian. She's Romanian. She was influenced by Romanian folklore behind the idea of Gabriel, but she liked the idea of it being like this a medical parasitic condition, instead of it being just like this folkloric aspect. So Ingrid and James came up with the idea, but they hired a black woman to write the screenplay. So this movie is actually written entirely by a black woman.
Don't try to blame somebody.
Akela Cooper, and I have to give her shout outs, because rarely do we see huge horror properties, being written by black women on their own. This I will even go down and say this is a black horror film. Okay, I think the humor is definitely like stems so much from that as well. And
really, because counterpoint, the
I fucking love that
humor
movie.
stems from how bad
It's
some of the
amazing
acting
movie.
is, and the
Yeah.
choices that were
Annabelle Wallace
made.
is doing the absolute least, and I love it for like oh my god, like it's amazing. It's truly amazing.
But
I love
wait.
this
But you,
idea.
so how do you get through? I mean, you admitted the first 40
Yeah.
minutes are a
Yeah.
slog.
Yeah.
And
Okay. So here's like a thing. Okay.
I mean, it's clearly not everyone is going to get through that and
The
think that this
first
movie was good.
thing that so the first thing that I did after I watched this movie is I
Mhm.
texted literally everyone I know and said, watch Malignant, don't watch anything about it, just watch it, stick with it, it'll pay off. Because the second half of the movie is literally like a fucking WWE meets horror
Right.
meets like
It's
just complete
fun, it's
absurdism.
action,
It's super amazing.
But why not set up the movie that way? Like they set it up for that,
so
and then
actually,
they switch to like
okay,
a
because
melodrama.
and so James Wan, I mean, first off, James Wan really has become one of Hollywood period's like most insought directors. Like right now, he did all of the Aquamans. He did a good chunk
I
of
think
the
there's
Fast
just
and the
one
Furious.
Aquaman.
No, they already
Two?
filmed the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming out. Already by the time they were filming this, Aquaman 2 was, I think, done. So like, the dude is in demand. He really can pretty much make whatever he wants to make now. And especially, he started the Saw series, the Insidious series, the Conjuring series. At that point, like sort of like, what do you do? And he said that what he was really interested in doing for this film was bringing it back to an original story, which Malignant is an original story, again, coming from his wife. And he said that he wanted to make this movie as an homage to every single genre of within horror that he liked. And so he said he really wanted it to be like a murder mystery. So this like really almost
That part's
tedious
a
40
stretch. That
minute
part's a stretch. You
you
could have cut
know
that.
is no much. He's like, he said that he wanted the cops to be bumbling like these bumbling
Annoying.
idiots
Yeah.
essentially. Because but then he says like he definitely wanted this like 80s Sam Raimi influence that comes in, which definitely comes in towards the end. And
That is
with
the strongest. Like that
no
is where
it,
I
it
think I wish the
I
entire
okay,
movie
I will say
was.
that. I do think just the very excitement of that like completely eclipses everything, but it also makes me appreciate this really tedious like if it is for the first time watching it, I think it is hard, but I think looking back on it, I can't wait to watch it again because I think I will actually find a lot of joy in seeing like how they pulled off a lot of it. And so that's why I really love Malignant. My only regret with Malignant is I didn't see it in theaters. I feel
Yeah.
like it would
Oh.
be so much fun in theaters.
Yeah.
But I was doubtful myself. I wasn't sure if I could make it through, so I did on HBO Max. Um yeah, no, I really loved Malignant. I think it was like everything that I want in a horror movie. Yes, it is. I do think uh improperly paced, but I will say this, I do think, and this speaks to all the movies actually for the pod, I do think that as spectators we're challenged to pay attention and to get payoffs, and I think Malignant definitely awards that. But you do need to be patient. And I can see why a lot of people wouldn't be patient. I could see why people would fall asleep. I really could. But but I think Malignant is a gift for those that want to stick around and can spot the references. They were
Or
giallo color schemes. You know, there was a lot of Hitchcock style blocking. It's so well made.
here's the thing.
It's so well
Oof.
made.
Okay.
It's so well made.
Uh or you could, I think, because I actually think the best way to watch this is with your buds
Yes.
while you're having conversations
No.
and just
Yes.
laughing at the
Oh, yes.
stupid
Yes.
parts
Yes. Yes.
and then
Yes.
talking through the
Yes.
boring parts.
Yes.
Or you could look at your phone during
No,
this
don't
movie.
look at your
Just
phone.
look
That
up
is a
when the fun
mistake.
stuff
Nope.
happens.
Nope. Don't do
Because
that.
that's what I
Don't do
wish
that.
I was
Don't do
because
that. Don't do that.
I,
I agree. I think this
it
is a
was
really
very
great movie
hard.
to watch with your friends.
Yeah.
It's a. I hope if you haven't seen it, you didn't listen to this part.
I
That way
wish I
you
had
could
friends
get.
when I was watching this
Um.
movie.
No, yeah, Malignant. I really loved it. I want Gabriel to become a horror icon.
She
I
is.
want
We
Gabriel
have no
to.
choice. She's appeared in
Oh
a
my
movie.
god.
She's an
I will
icon.
say the end was fucking. Oh my god. I just remember the end. So okay, all right. One
I
thing
don't,
that we
yeah.
haven't addressed is like, all right, so it's this parasitic twin. How does she get rid of it? Which reader, I also thought the same thing. I was like, how does she get rid of it? And she gets rid of it by saying, "You do not control me, Gabriel. You do not control me, and I will not do what you want me to do." And he goes away. And I'm like, are you telling me that this was cured if she had just gone to
By just
therapy?
positive thinking.
So she just needed to go to
She just
therapy.
needed to acknowledge it. That's like a coping thing. That's a
No, and then
psychological
the
thing.
mom, so and
But
another
it's
thing is the biological mom
boring.
is discovered
It's a
because
boring way to
the
end.
the one thing that we didn't mention is she and Gabriel were adopted because it was like a teenage pregnant mother kind of thing. And so the biological mother is kidnapped by Gabriel, and at the end of it, the biological mother, who had been in a coma because of what Gabriel did to her, um she wakes up from the coma and it's like, Gabriel, I don't love you.
Wow. Ouch. My favorite quote was
Oh god. Tell me.
when our lead character's friend, I believe, somebody says to her about her miscarriages.
Oh my god,
this
I
was
think I
just
know what
like
quote this is. This is
this is just
fucked up.
something your friend says to you
Oh my god, I
when
know
she
what
like
this
totally
is.
understands your monster problem.
Oh my god.
And she says, he was feeding off of your miscarriages to build himself back up. like she was like, oh, I get it, like your head monster was eating your babies for his
Twin,
energy.
parasitic
Like,
twin.
why would
Parasitic
she?
twin.
And then the character was like, yeah, oh, I
Gabriel
guess you're
didn't
right.
want to be alone.
She's miscarriaging me for
Honestly,
fuel.
I understood Gabriel.
Yeah.
I want him to succeed.
I want
I
I
hope
wanted him to
he's
be in a better movie.
not gone forever.
Come on. He is going to be in the sequel's going to be better.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I do think that would
Cut
definitely
all
happen.
exposition, just go straight
I
in.
mean, that's sort of like no, yeah, I won't
Make
get
it
into
like him, he tries to like get a job, become a normal
And I
member
think
of
here's the
society.
thing. I think even if people didn't like this movie, like Clinton, I think everyone does agree that Gabriel is just awesome.
Yeah,
Like it's
Gabriel's cool.
the creature
I could
design is
see
cool.
more backwards
And then,
fighting.
and the thing is, and then again, that backwards fighting, so to speak, was all practical with contortionists. I saw
Yeah,
behind
that
the
was cool.
scenes of it, and it was insane how they
Yeah.
did it. And I think it looks scary. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, that prison scene was, I mean, it was hilarious, but it was also scary. And I got to give a shout out. So the jail scene, I kept wondering how that was shot camera wise because the camera work was so crazy. And I saw behind the scenes video. It was literally a robot swinging the camera around. It I strongly recommend watching the behind the scenes stuff for this movie on YouTube. I think it would just make you appreciate the movie all that much more. And to take the Clinton's point, because I do a bit here, I do think that if you do need so much context about what makes a movie awesome, is the movie awesome on its own? But for me, as someone that already liked it a lot after I first watched it, these things bring so much more affection and life to me for the movie. So yeah, Malignant.
Yeah. There it is. I actually went back and watched some clips from The Room afterwards because I was thirsty for some more bad dialogue.
Oh my god, that looks so bad.
Yeah.
Kelly Cooper, she's a queen. I can't wait to see what she writes next.
Yeah.
I think she's great. Okay.
Oh,
sorry. Go
also,
ahead.
I noticed in this movie, there's Patient May.
Oh
is
yeah,
the
I
name.
think I noticed that.
And so
yeah.
I thought that'd be
There's
cute.
a
And
May
you're gonna
Santiago.
do a Halloween costume, possibly of this.
Oh no, I'm gonna
This
do
is just a
Darkman
real. This is
instead.
a real
I
connection
recently
here.
saw Darkman and I loved it. I'd never seen it before. Talking about batshit creature designs,
Yeah,
right?
and also
No,
segue into our next film,
yeah, a segue
Coming
to
Home in the
oh
Dark. Right?
all right, okay.
We can do that.
So next is Coming Home in the Dark, directed by James Ashcroft from New Zealand. All right, so that was Coming Home in the Dark.
Coming Home in the Dark.
Directed by James Ashcroft
Got
from New Zealand. It is up on Netflix. Oh, Malignant's up on HBO Max, by the way. So yeah, Coming Home in the Dark. Well, how would you describe Coming Home? Well,
Okay.
what is it about?
Let's set the scene. A family is going on a road trip of sorts, and they are in what country?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. And so it's gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
You've got the family dynamics of like teenage kids in the
Those
back.
kids were adopted, right?
I didn't get that. I thought they were biological.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? They were adopted?
I thought that they were
what
adopted,
the
but I don't think that's made
I
clear.
didn't matter, did it?
No, I don't think it mattered.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just something for
two teenage
for some
boys.
reason. Yeah, because as Clinton says, the vibe is a little bit dissonant, as most like awkward.
It's like family road trip. It's like annoying kids, fathers, like, you know, I related to it.
Which, by the way, the dad, I don't know who the dad, I think his name is Eric Thompson.
Yeah.
He's apparently like an icon in Australia and New Zealand. Like, yeah, he's like a really famous TV dad. So he was very purposely, so he was purposely cast in this sort of like
cool.
To be so so I do want to point out mine and Clinton's ignorance here. This isn't something I found out until later. And so so that's interesting because he definitely does give off like this TV dad vibe immediately. I feel.
And the mother, I didn't have any notes on her, but she seems good, like a good actor. And
and
she's doing her thing,
so
and she's being a
for the
mother.
mother, she is, and I am sorry if I mispronounce this, she is Maori. And so James Ashcroft, the director, said that it was very important for him to cast a Maori woman as the mother, because the mother does tend to be like the main affectionate, nurturing role in this film. And Maori women in New Zealand cinema rarely are cast in those roles. So, two notes on the casting of those two, because I do think that that is, I mean, I actually, it didn't seem super obvious to me at first that the mother might have been non-white. So, so yeah, so important cultural context
That
somewhat.
is important.
Yeah,
So they go to a location somewhere very gorgeous in nature to go for a hike or picnic or something.
it's secluded.
And well, although it's secluded, although it is open,
Yeah,
big rolling hills sort of
yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
And so imagine you're out there, family chilling, and these two adult men kind of straggle up to you, and
Out of nowhere.
and you just get the bad vibes.
Yeah, very bad vibes.
And that is where the tension is.
Yeah.
And I think the tension is masterfully created and held through a good portion of this movie.
Okay, so Coming Home in the Dark, I would have to say is the movie I liked the second most.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't absolutely love it, but I will absolutely agree with Clinton that I think it is very well made. I think it is excellently acted. And I think even the parts that were obviously like upsetting to me, like that, I mean, that's the point of horror, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this was a movie where definitely I'm not sure like if it would be one of my faves to watch, period, but I think it is inarguably a very well crafted and effective horror film that is very specific as well to the culture. So this seems like a really great study for the podcast. I'm really glad that we
Yeah.
watched it.
So in the story, the leader, whose name is Mandrake,
Yeah, Mandrake.
who is a
So it's Mandrake and
phenomenal
Tubbs. Yeah.
Mandrake and Tubbs, and um Mandrake, so the actor is
Daniel
just
Giles, who
so
apparently is on
charismatic.
Vampire Diaries.
Oh my god. Well, that show was good.
I
Is that
didn't
like
watch that show.
yeah. Um so he's just so charismatic. And so he gets a gun out, and it's obvious that they're being either going to be robbed or kidnapped, or something bad's going to happen to them. And they're secluded, there's no one else around, except in the distance a van
Oh
pulls up,
yeah,
like a
yeah,
van drives by or stops for a moment, and
yeah.
Mandrake is like, all right, everybody act natural, everybody act normal, whatever. And maybe he's got the gun like secretly pointed at somebody, and he says to the father, he says, they're like waving at the van so that the van doesn't
This
people
is
in
a
the van
killer,
don't think
killer
that
line. Are you about to read the
anything.
line?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the sign.
So, and he says, and as a viewer, you don't know what's going to happen
Yeah,
next,
you
you
really
don't know
don't.
where it's going. And
Yeah,
he
you
says
don't.
to him, he says, I think you're going to look back at this moment and wish you would have done something.
And right at that, it's like 3 seconds of a
Hold on,
pause.
but they give you the pause where you're like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where you're like, oh shit, are they gonna do something?
yeah, like,
And then right there,
well, the van leaves.
the
The
van
van leaves.
leaves.
Yeah.
And the very first thing Mandrake does as soon as the van leaves is kill the two boys, which shocked the shit out of me.
Yes. It like that was a hard shock.
That's where I was like, I don't know if I like this movie because I didn't like that so
It
much.
was like,
But
because
looking back,
yeah,
that's the good part
that's
of
how you made the
that.
tension,
Yeah,
because
no,
you
it really
blow
is.
you take the kids who are usually the most protected in like a horror situation, and it's just like, no, boom, boom, they're both
Yeah.
dead.
And they both were trying to like struggle and help out more. So
Yeah.
I for a moment I thought the movie was going to be about the kids.
Uh-huh.
But no, it completely flips you on its head. It's like, nope, no one's safe here.
Yeah.
I will say the other really masterful thing about that is that it's the most violent part of the movie. And so after that part, I kept waiting for it to get worse, and it didn't necessarily get worse. but that, I mean, you still live within that tension, and a lot of bad things do happen.
Mhm.
But I do think, like, looking back in the whole film, I do think it's, again, a very masterful, it's a high stakes thing
Yeah.
to do as a director. And I think James Ashcroft really pulled it off. And it's really like, I mean, because then what happens after that is you're disgusted with Mandrake, right? You're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
fuck this guy. This guy has got to die.
And you're thinking, what would I have done in that situation? And the
Yeah.
fact that he says that to him when the car
Yeah.
when the car drives away, he's like, I bet you're gonna think back on this and wish
I
you had
also
done
think it's like
something.
a little bit
I
of a
was like,
wink. Yeah.
oh,
It's
oh
a
my
wink to the
god.
spectator. It totally is a wink to the spectator because, yeah,
But in a
I don't think
clever
I've,
way, and
no, it's
not and
very
it's not
clever. It's
meta, right?
very
It's not like,
clever.
oh, I expect you
Exactly.
to do this,
This is
but
exactly, this is how you do well played, like, expectation,
dialogue.
well played
That was
dialogue, well played
woo,
acting. Yeah. Yeah, no.
I
Yeah, this
felt it.
movie's really well made. I gotta say, this movie is really
So,
well made.
and there's a couple things that trip me up on it. I think this does elevate to the one I would recommend out of the ones we've talked
Oh
about.
yeah, I agree.
But
I agree.
but I think it does have a tension problem because at some point the more you learn about why this is happening, the less scary it becomes. I think the less interesting it becomes.
I actually think opposite for me.
Really.
Yeah, opposite for me.
As I'm learning, I start to get to the point where I'm like, I got to a point where I didn't really care anymore if the father died, if the mother jumps out of the car at some point, right? I think she like
Yeah,
jumps
I
in the
and
river or
my
something
yeah,
or gets pushed. I
and
forget.
in my opinion, she survives.
Yeah.
I that's what I gotta say. I gotta say, I feel like everything was handled with care in
Hmm.
this film. Uh, and yeah, everything is handled with care. There is no moral boundary really etched, which I appreciate. It seems like everyone gets some taste of the grayness of this, of just like the big complexity of it all, because I guess the reveal, and again, spoilers, the reveal is that, so first off, there were these state integrated schools in New Zealand where they would send troubled boys, and a lot of abuse would happen in these places. And we never actually fully know, like, because it is very random that the family just happened upon this wide open space, and
Yeah.
Mandrake and Tubbs.
Mandrake does say at one point, he says something to the extent of like, this was just going to be a regular thing. And
Yeah,
then, yeah.
yeah.
And then I
And
recognized you, or you said your name. The name,
yeah,
I think, is what brought him.
yeah. And so I never actually get like full clarification, but it really doesn't kind of matter,
Well, we get enough to know that the father
Hoagie.
works in the
He worked in the state
school,
integrated school.
and he
He's
was there for some trauma and some
Yeah,
abuse that he didn't
yeah,
stop. He
yeah.
didn't
Which, by the
stop.
way, the road trip is all about taking them back to the school where
Right.
they were all
So
at.
he's like, we're going back there.
But there are a lot of really interesting, because it's not only, the husband and the wife or the kids, it's also this dynamic between Mandrake and Tubbs, which, interesting, they are interracial, but Tubbs is not Maori, which is the main indigenous tribe in New Zealand. He's Samoan.
Mhm.
And so there James Ashcroft himself, other than casting the wife as a Maori woman, he said that he didn't necessarily want to make like these strong parallels between, like, oh, this is a racial thing, this is
Yeah.
a so but there is a tension between Mandrake and Tubbs, where Tubbs is very
He's like the silent,
he's the silent
sort of.
one. He
He
does do a lot of the muscle work.
he gets
um
bossed
he
around.
does get bossed
He
around, but he
seems to
does.
have a moral center, though. Like he's kind of you can see him questioning
Yeah,
things.
he did seem very upset when the boys died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't
um
get much to say.
no, he doesn't. No, and that is so, I really loved Tubbs' performance. Mandrake and
Yeah.
Tubbs were, I honestly think all the performances in this were great.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would say is, like, the dad begins to grate, but I think that's the point, that's the archetype in and of itself. So, there's so many different things going on here. It's not even just like the reprehensibility of violence, but it's also like, watching the complexity of abuse and things like that. And again, I don't necessarily think that like anyone really wins out towards the end. I think
Yeah.
the implication is that
Well,
the mother survives, maybe.
yeah.
Um,
The father
Tubbs,
survives.
no, 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 no. The
No?
father definitely.
Father dies?
Who's gonna save him? He's
Oh
bleeding
no, no,
out.
no. But he's alive. I mean,
He's
he's
alive.
gonna scutter off and be fine, I think.
No, they're in
Do
the
you think
middle
he
of nowhere. No,
dies?
I think he definitely dies.
Really?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think Tubbs is the only one that Tubbs and the mom, I think, are the only ones that, even though the mom, again, the last time we see her is like being carried in the water, but
Mm-hmm.
she seems to be like moving a bit. And
Hmm.
again, I think she's injured, but I think she does survive. I do think if anyone has any sort of like moral elevation in the film, it's definitely imbued in the mom, but
Hmm.
it's not even really a film about
Yeah.
her. It's a film about, violence and this system that, helped breed and repudiate with violence. And again, it's not a story we've sort of seen versions of this story before in American and European cinema, but this one feels very specific to a New Zealand context. It felt so ensconced in the culture and in the landscape
Mm-hmm.
and in the pace, the tension, and it may, even though I may not say I absolutely love this film, it makes me super excited to see what this guy does next.
The
And
director
apparently
or
the
yeah.
director. And apparently the dude's doing a Bigfoot movie. So
Hmm. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So
What do you think of the ending?
I like the ending.
Do you like the ending quote where Tubbs shoots the guy and says, "I hate this place"?
Yeah, I love it.
What is he referring to?
He's referring to the fucking school.
Oh, the school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For a second, I thought it was bigger. Maybe it was like,
Because it's a
did
film
it
about trauma.
did it bother you that Tubbs has no story, personal story?
I mean,
Like to me,
we don't know Mandrake's story
yeah,
either.
we do. We do know more of Mandrake's story.
No, I don't think so,
We
because we know that
yeah,
Tubbs
we
went to the
see
same
him as a
school.
baby. We see him. It's all about his experience, and this is all because of something that he experienced from the
I think
teachers.
you're centering it too much on Mandrake. I didn't even tie those
I think it
flashbacks to him.
was.
No,
No,
I
it
think
was. Are you?
no, I
Well,
don't think
who else
so.
was it? I mean,
It was
he's
all
telling
about
you.
the no, it was all about the because it was also flashing back during the moments of Eric Thompson's contemplation of his thing. So to me it's more tied into this overall abuse system rather than it being necessarily one of them, because even
Hmm.
Mandrake said it didn't need to be me. I don't know him, you know. Again, this is a movie that lives a lot in its ambiguity, and I think it purposely doesn't want to answer too many questions, and I think it does dodge it more or less successfully. Is it a perfect movie? Not at all. But I think it's very effective, and I think it definitely is one of the stronger movies of this batch that we watch. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I always like I judge Netflix horrors more than usual,
Yeah.
and this really elevates past the crop.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for it.
Yeah. This one will get you.
Yeah,
It'll get you, hook you. I'll get you.
sure.
Yeah.
All right.
The
We
final film. Oh, who's our final girl this week?
all right.
Lamb.
Lamb, directed by Valdemir Johansson,
Yeah.
starring Numi Rapace, and from Iceland. All right, so that was a bit of Lamb,
Lamb.
directed by Valdemir Johansson from Iceland. What is Lamb about?
Oh boy. This movie, this film, this Cannes Film Festival selection is about
A24 horror, by the way, which
A24.
is important for
What
Clinton
up,
and
A24?
important for me because it means that I'll hate it, which I did.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just tested
No.
this film.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this film is about a couple, a farming couple in
Childless.
childless farming couple in Iceland.
Yes.
And beautiful, beautiful Iceland. Oh my God. The farm, this is farm wave, chill vibes, You watch this movie, you sit back, you lie back.
Cottage core,
It
very
doesn't
cottage
cottage
core.
core. You don't even, it doesn't even matter. You haven't taken a vacation in years. You haven't gone anywhere. You watch this film, you're transported. Okay. There's lamb, right? It's a lamb.
Okay,
No, wait,
actually,
hold
so
on.
this is
Hold
no,
on. I'm
no,
still
no.
going.
This is where things actually do begin to bother me.
Yeah.
These were real animal births.
Great. That happens.
No, I don't like
Why
it
would that be bad?
because well, Numi Rapace said that the scariest scenes for her to shoot were the live animal births because everything was in her hands, and I was
Yeah.
like, I do not like that. Do
This
not
is
like that at
nature. This
all.
is if you
I
this is that's
don't like
method
that at
acting. That's
all.
method.
Anyway.
Why don't you like the birth of
No, because I
creatures
mean, like
into
anything bad
hands?
could have happened. She's a fucking
It's a
actress. Yeah.
lamb. What's it gonna do? I'm sure they have a lamb doctor on set to help
I
if the
don't. I
lamb gets
don't think
stuck.
they did, bro. I really don't think
I
they
think they
did.
did.
No, they didn't.
Lamb.
So like I said,
They
I'm
had a
at that
lamb
age where if you're
specialist.
using actual animals for animal stuff for certain things, I don't know,
Yeah, it's
man.
just to me. I want to see the birth.
I
It's
hate it.
beautiful.
Anyway, so they're working with
So a
animals.
lamb is born.
We
And
don't
oh
see
wait,
the body.
hold on.
We
I'm
don't see
getting
the
there. I'm
body.
getting
We
there.
don't see the
I would
body.
like this one, okay, because I love this movie.
We don't see the body.
So a lamb is born, and in that moment,
They seem
the mother and the couple, they look at each other because they're there giving have at the birth, and they look at each other and they kind of look at each other like, huh, what?
yeah.
But we don't know why.
We don't know why.
But something is afoot.
Something is afoot.
They raise this lamb. We see the lamb head. We see a lamb.
Which beautiful
arm.
lambs, by the way.
Beautiful lambs.
Oh. Another reason. So again, this is why. So okay. Anyway, continue. I'll talk about it. I'll take all. Yeah.
So they're raising this lamb lovingly.
Yeah.
And you're just chilling, watching this. You're just chilling. You're having a good time. I mean, it's just like chill, but not like boring.
This is like
in my opinion.
no, it's
okay. But
this is like 40 minutes in the movie, by the way. If we want to talk about Malignant,
right?
You know,
Malignant was trash
waiting
for 40
its
minutes.
time.
Yeah,
Lamb is out here, just a lot of long shots for 40 minutes.
I was loving it.
Anyway.
And I don't usually love that, so I don't know why. I also had a fever.
He loves A24.
I had a sinus infection, so I was just laid out, just loving it. At about the 40-minute mark or so, they're like, they lose the lamb runs away, and so they have to go. They're like, oh god, lamb child, where'd our lamb child go? And
the lamb didn't run away. The mom took the lamb.
Well, you think the mom grabbed the lamb with her mouth?
Yes, you idiot.
The lamb ran with the mom. She ran around,
but the mom,
her rightful lamb mother comes and to the house every night and like blah blah.
This scene is so upsetting.
You're talking about where they pick up the lamb. So they go and they find the lamb with the lamb mother, and they pick up the lamb, and then you see the reveal that this lamb has a baby butt.
And then they kill the mom.
A baby butt and baby legs and one baby arm.
So
it's hilarious.
This is where again I have a lot of.
It's hilarious.
To get the effect of Ada, which they named the lamb thing Ada.
Oh, I appreciate you calling her by her name if you refer to Malignant as
well,
Gabriel,
yeah, I mean, I have to give her the lamb thing.
As
I mean,
Ada.
yeah.
Okay.
Gabriel's a parasitic twin.
Okay.
Ada is a lamb.
Lamb child.
Lamb child. So Ada, to get the effect of her, they used 4 lambs and 9 babies on rotation.
Oh my god.
I don't like anything
awesome.
about what the set sounds like.
Yeah.
I feel bad for all the lambs and all the babies involved. I don't feel bad for anyone else.
Okay. Well, I guess
anyway,
I'm more
so
optimistic.
it's a lamb
I imagine
thing.
those babies had a good time. Those lambs were really well taken care of. They weren't chopped up and fed to people. Okay.
Anyway, so yeah.
They've got a lamb
and then
child.
they shoot the mom in the head. Right?
No. Not they. The mother, the woman, the woman.
The woman.
Not
shoots.
to put this on a woman, but she did. She
no,
was the
she
one.
does shoot the lamb, and
which poses, which poses some questions.
It makes me so angry. Oh, one thing that we forgot to say is that this they are childless, but they are childless because they literally lost their child.
But we're not given any information about that, right?
No, we are. We know right from the beginning that that she doesn't
What do we know? How do we
that
not?
she doesn't have that they lost that their daughter.
How did they lose her?
I don't remember,
They
dude. I
don't tell
hated
us. They
this
don't tell us. They
movie.
don't tell us.
No, but we know that
There
it's
was a
not like
daughter.
there exactly. It's
Yeah.
not like there was never one. There's a
There
was
was a
there. So
was.
there
Yeah.
is like this grief
Grief. Right.
being played with.
Yes. Grief and parenting. And then in the most like weird way, the man's brother comes into the picture and the most awkward like scene where it's just confusing, but that's okay. And so the brother comes into the picture and the brother's like, wait a second, what the F is going on here? What is this lamb baby child doing? What are you doing here? Also, I want to bang your wife, which for some reason becomes a plot element. And then we've got this lovely story. What happens next? Who are the rightful parents of this lamb? Who is this lamb more lamb than human, or is this more human than lamb? Who is to say? Is it for the parents to decide? Is it for the lamb to decide? We've got a lot of
So
interesting
this
questions
movie
here.
sucks up until the last 5 minutes. Do you want to say what
Brutal.
happens?
Yes. First of all, let me just intro it a little better though. Let me just cover up some of that hateration over here. Yeah, then it's very calm, very tranquil, very chill wave, and then
It's
a
all
giant
about humans
minotaur
and their
man,
drama,
a
while I do
giant
not give a fuck about any
minotaur
of the
man
humans.
grabs a
It's
shotgun
not a
and blasts
minotaur. It's a ram. It's called a ram man.
Ram
You
Man.
need to learn your animals.
Okay,
So this like
Ram Man,
6 foot
giant
giant ram
with
with the
man
bottom.
parts.
You do see a bottom body, like Ada has a bottom body, but
Yeah,
everything
this
up
man's
top,
got a bottom body.
everything up top is a ram. He does have arms because shotgun.
He's got to shoot it. Yeah, maybe he had one. I don't
Ram Man shotgun.
Ram Man looks awesome.
No Man looks awesome. If this movie was all about Ram
He
Man, this would be my
blows
favorite movie.
away.
But because Ram Man comes in at the last 5 minutes, this movie is shit.
He comes in, he blasts away the father, and then he takes his lamb baby and Ada, and they walk off into the sunset.
And of course, Numi Rapace loses her mind.
And then the mother comes and she's like, all she doesn't see Ram Man.
Yeah.
All she sees is her husband,
dying.
A shotgun.
Yeah.
And then no lamb child.
No lamb
so
child.
I think she must think he shot himself.
Maybe.
So that
I don't know. And frankly, I don't care because nothing
I'm
about this movie makes me care about anything.
You're very full of bad feelings on this movie.
I mean, it was just completely uncompelling because the most compelling parts of the movie, which are the animals, are the afterthought. And we're supposed to have so much sympathy for, mom and dad. And I just wanted everyone to die. No one died quick enough.
You should have liked this movie. But here are some standout thoughts.
It's very Icelandic. I'll give it that.
Okay. When I really didn't want to watch this movie because I thought it looked boring and it has a boring name. And when I typed in lamb into my TV, it popped up, but then it popped up Lamb Chop underneath it, like the children's show. Did you ever watch Lamb Chop?
Oh, right.
And I thought, oh my God, I would love to watch Lamb Chop right now. And I was like, damn, but unfortunately I have to watch this boring movie that they gave me called Lamb. So I turn it on and like the monkey paw curling. I got to watch Lamb Chop because this baby lamb, I didn't know it was going to star like looks like a puppet lamb baby, right? It was hilarious every time it was on screen. If you were in the theater, you must have
definitely
been, you must have busted out. But it's like totally meme worthy.
I mean, it is one of it. Like I said, it's very Scandinavian, very, it's the morality of motherhood and, blah, blah, blah. Like, I get it, but
Didn't do anything for you.
So what?
Okay,
Give
well,
me more Ram Man.
Ram Man was
Ram Man was
so
so great. I
like
mean, oh, and then to speak to Clinton somewhat, I think what is buried
mhm.
underneath our discussion right now is the entire time you're like, wait, did he fuck the lamb?
That was the most distracting thing.
Yes, the entire
As
time.
soon as the lamb baby, as soon as it drops that you know that, you are constantly thinking about who fucked the lamb.
Who fucked the
And at the
lamb?
end you get the answer, which is Ram Man
Ram
fucked the
Man
lamb.
fucked the lamb. Ram Man is it. Again, I want to know,
Oh my god,
is there
alternate
a
title.
ram species?
Right.
What is their folklore? Where do they
Oh
live?
yeah.
What took
Yeah.
this motherfucker so
I
long?
guess
Like,
the
what a
next
bad
question is
dad.
who fucked Ram Man's mom,
Yeah,
which is
who fucked Ram
awesome.
Man's mom,
Um,
dude?
but,
This is what I'm saying. The wrong answer. There's the wrong focus in this movie. This movie should, every single time there were animals on screen, I was happy, but not enough animals,
yeah.
not enough Ram Man.
Oh my god. When the
A24 horse shit
I
or
thought
lamb
lamb
shit.
shit. I thought I had the case cracked at some point. I was thinking, okay, so what if, because clearly you're thinking, well, the the dad guy fucked the lamb, obviously. But
And
then I thought I got myself so twisted up. I was like, oh my god, I got it. So the woman, she didn't shoot the lamb baby's mom. She shot the lamb baby's dad because she had sex with the lamb dad. And then I realized that I forgot how pregnancy works and that you have to be the lamb was the one that gave birth. So this movie had me so twisted. And then on top of that, I just forgot. It just left my brain.
so lamb. um Not as bad as Gaia.
Not as bad as Guy. Oh, no way.
And I don't understand Numi Rapaz's career.
Okay,
But
another
good for
thing.
her.
Another thing.
What?
There's a sex scene with the humans
Yeah.
before Ram Man. Okay, while
Yeah.
you're still wondering who conceived this lamb child,
Yeah.
and the way it's shot, I really feel like you start to wonder if the wife has lamb parts. Like, are the humans growing lamb genitalia?
That might be
Wow, what a
you.
trip.
Yeah. So lamb.
I liked it as much as you liked Malignant. I think I liked Lamb. We switch on. We
that
switched on
that
that.
is not even possible because there is nothing to even appreciate about lamb other than Ram Man.
Ram Man and
Ram Man
Lamb,
and
Lamb
Lamb
Child
Mother,
and Ram Man rock.
Lamb Mother, Lamb Family, give them
Lamb
Oscars.
Fam.
Everyone else, including the director, can be go out and shot behind the bar.
Oh, come on.
Metaphorically,
Right.
not literally. Do
Can't say
not
this
do
on the you can't
violence
say this on the internet and or
to people.
airwaves.
But
No.
Lamb Family is the only winners here. Anyway, so that's 2021.
That's 2021.
Yeah.
Pretty weird. And
Yeah.
we didn't even talk about the movie where the woman has sex with a car. I felt like,
I
why are we watching
don't
this lamb
ever
thing and then we
need
don't get to see that one?
discuss Titan. I don't feel like
We
it's
should go
necessary.
there.
My favorite director of all time. I went to her retrospective at New York Film Festival, and she had just come out from seeing Titan, and I was like, "Tell me everything you feel." And she's like, "Well, it's a triumph in marketing when women can make films like that nowadays and be considered great filmmakers." And it is the biggest diss I've ever
Wow.
heard, and I don't ever
Made
need
you
to
want
watch
to not
it.
see it?
I have no interest. I have
Okay.
better things
That's
to do
from the
with my
director
life.
of
The director of The Queen of Diamonds, Brainwashed, and Phantom Love, Nina Menka's We Stand Hard on those podcasts.
Okay.
Um,
Stan and Slam, apparently.
So, well, wait. Oh, you mean Titan? Who directed Titan?
Yeah, that's what I
Oh
wanna know.
no, who directed Titan? Titan is directed by Julia Ducournau.
And she did.
She did Raw.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what
yeah.
we watched.
And
Yeah.
do we stand her or slam her?
No,
Stand or slam?
I don't like her. She did direct episodes of Servant though, so we do like that about her. Anyway, so yeah, that was 2021. One thing that I will say is I agree with you. There was a bit of diversity in the storytelling, even the ones that we hated.
Mhm.
So, I mean, what we got creature features, we got ecological horror, we got straight up pretty much like horror thrillers, Lamb,
Yeah.
whatever Lamb is, and then sex trafficking.
Yeah. Wow. The glorious diversity provided by men.
Can't wait
Sorry.
to see. No,
Trying to use
yeah,
something to say
it's
there, but
true.
yeah.
True. Yeah.
Let's see where
Anyway,
we do in
go
2022,
watch
huh?
You Are
Meg,
Not My
go, Meg.
Mother.
Woo,
You Are
woo.
Not My Mother is genuinely,
You Are Not My Mother?
You Are Not My Mother, genuinely one of the,
Sounds like could be
might be
Lamb's
the
title.
best uh horror made last year. Though
Okay.
I
That
don't
sounds
know,
fun.
Malignant
Sounds good.
is just shining right there,
And
doing
Lamb, baby. Whoa.
doing everything that she wants us to
Mm-hmm.
do.
Yep.
All right, so we will be back next time, probably talking about aliens or
Oh, you've been
Hitchcock.
wanting to do aliens for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Well,
concede. I will. Let's do it.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, readers, I hope you have a good day with the rest of your movies.
Mm-hmm. And viewers, to our new viewers on YouTube, like and subscribe.
We probably aren't doing a YouTube.
God damn it, but it's on YouTube.
But, okay. You may God bless you in
May
all your
God
adventures.
bless America and the world.
May God make horror great again.
We are God centric on this
May
podcast.
Satan bless us all.
Yeah, okay.
Good
That
night.
sounds that felt more right, I guess.